If that were true, would you believe it?
If any other religion were true, would you believe it?
Sure, if it were. The question is, what is the other religion?
So I, like Tarek over there, I also, I'm not a Christian, but I do look into, like, other religions and stuff like that. And, you know, I was just wondering, you know, why you believe in specifically Christianity and not any other religion.
Hey, excellent question. Because I know I had 4 questions up here earlier. Were you here the whole time? Okay. So out of those 4 questions, the 2 main ones are, does God exist and did Jesus really rise from the dead? Does the New Testament tell us the truth about the resurrection? And the reason I think that's true is because I think there's evidence for it. I think there's evidence that God exists, and I think there's good evidence that Jesus predicted and accomplished his own resurrection from the dead. And if he did, he claimed to be God. That means he is God because he did predict and accomplish his own resurrection from the dead. And then, as a result of that, if he's God, whatever he teaches is true. Jesus taught the entire Old Testament as the Word of God, and he promised the New Testament. And you say, why trust Jesus? And I say, look, I just have a personal policy. If somebody predicts and accomplishes his own resurrection from the dead, I just trust whatever the guy says. Okay, so that's how I think the Bible's the Word of God. And there's more argumentation than that. It's on Jesus' authority. If he really died and rose from the dead, predicted and died and rose from the dead, he's God. And so I'm trusting in him. And there's a whole bunch of other... He's the most unique individual in all of history. He is the most influential human being in all of history. Why is he the most influential human being in all of history? It's not just what he said and talked about. It's what he actually did. You know, there's been other people that have said they were God. There's been other people that said they've risen from the dead and they hadn't. He really did rise from the dead. That's why I think he's God and Christianity's true. If that were true, would you believe it?
If any other religion were true, would you believe it?
Sure, if it were. The question is, what is the other religion?
Say Hinduism.
If it were true, the problem with Hinduism is it's non-theistic. And I think there's a lot of evidence that God does exist. So while Hinduism may have some things that are true about it, when it comes to the existence and nature of God, I don't think they have that right. So when I say Christianity is true, I'm not saying that all non-Christianities are completely false. I'm saying they're false where they disagree with Christianity. Like Islam gets some things right. They believe in a God. They have different nature. They think God's monotheistic rather than triune. They believe in prayer. They believe, just like Christians, you ought to give 2% of your income. 2.5% if you're a Muslim. They believe Jesus is going to judge in the end. In fact, they believe Jesus is sinless, that Jesus was a prophet. They believe that Jesus was virgin born, that Jesus did miracles. The Quran says all this. They just don't think he's God. Okay, so there are things that almost every world religion gets right, but where they differ from Christianity, I think they're wrong because I think there's evidence that Christianity is true.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is the answer yes?
Yes.
If I gave you a book, would you read it?
Yes.
Boom! Sold!